Because Hanukkah is a light in the darkest dark. You know, the dark was supposed to be the ultimate darkness. That's when. Anyways, to have an understanding of Hilchos Chanuka, of the Neris, we're going to talk about the time you light and but during traveling, these kind of things. So, first we know there seems to be a discrepancy that in Israel everybody lights outside. And here in Chutz La'aretz we light inside. And really, the Ikra in the Gemara, the Ikra Chiyuv was to light outside by the door. Which door? Whether it's the courtyard door, it's the house door. We'll get to it at a later time. Exactly where you light if you're over there. But the Ikra Halacha was to light outside. Because of Makom HaSakana, we light inside. It became a Sakana in Chutz La'aretz, they couldn't light outside, so they started lighting it. Mordechai al Shulchanai, the daya you put it on your table, and that's enough. So the question is, today there's no sakana, you can light outside, nobody's going to bother you. That's the question. All the Machorim ask, why today don't we go back to lighting it outside like they do in Eretz Yisrael? And so they went back to lighting it outside. But a lot of reasons are given why we didn't. Maybe even it's not a sakana, but the late sonim, a lot of late sonim outside that would make fun of it, laugh at it. In America it's hard to envision, but in Europe it was much more anti-Semitism. The Bnei Yisrael also brings this down from the Oilos Ephraim, the Gemara Brachos we saw at the end, that when people want to learn Torah, then pazer, it says, then take it outside, go teach it out in the street. When they don't want to hear it, so then do it inside, right? So it brings down the idea is that you sell something that people want to buy. People aren't so interested, so the best thing is to do it for your family. Do it for your family. Don't worry about the rest of the world. You know, keep your family strong. The rest of the world will come around at a different time. So I think Oilos Ephraim says that's the idea. You put it on your table, it's enough. In other words, forget about the rest of the world. They're not interested. But just do it for your family. That's enough. We put it on the window, you know, because we also want to get the Pasumei Nisa. That's what he brings up. But whatever the reason is, bottom line is, the minhag in Chutz La'aretz is to do it inside, and the minhag is also to do it outside, and it could have ramifications in halacha. Because what's the time you light the Ner Chanukah? So we all know you light it a half hour candles, but the concept of a half hour, you have to see, comes from the Gemara. The Gemara says that Zman Hadlakas Ner Chanukah is Acha Tichlo Regel Manashuk. Until the time when people are coming back. The time when people are coming back from the marketplace. People are coming back from the marketplace, and in Zman Gemara, people stop working about Seis HaKachavim, that says, it's got dark. So they started coming home. So for half hour, people were coming home. So when the Tichlo Regel Manashuk, that's the Zman of Ner Chanukah. Now the Gemara has a Machoikis. The Gemara has two tzadim. Gemara wants to know, what is that time frame? Is that time frame for how long the candle has to be lit? Or is that a time frame until when you're allowed to light? In other words, the Gemara has two Lashonis there. Either till that time is this how long the candle has to remain lit, till then, and if you have oil shorter than that shear, you're not yotze. So the shear would have to be, which we'll call a half hour, if the time to light is safe, and it got to stay lit until the Tichlo Regel Manashuk. So it's about a half hour. So that's when we get the time frame in a half hour. So that's one side of the Gemara. But if you light earlier, for example, Erev Shabbos, when you light earlier, so it has to remain lit all the way until you have to have enough oil that it should remain lit all the way until Tichlo Regel Manashuk. That's one pshat in the Gemara. The other pshat in the Gemara is no. It doesn't tell you. It doesn't matter how much oil you have. The point is, when is the Zman to light? You have to light within that time that people are still outside. And once the Zman of Tichlo Regel Manashuk comes, you miss the mitzvah.
By the way, the Rabbim that we're pursuing the nest to, Does that have to be specifically Jews, or
That's a very good shaila.
non-Jews?
That's a very good shaila, and it's a discussion among the poskim if it's dafka Jewish or not Jewish. It's a good shaila. And Mikra Adin l'chayr. Yeah.
I'm thinking about what you were just speaking about now, about the half hour after when people come home from work. On Erev Shabbos, people come home from work earlier.
Right.
So why do you have to have the candle
Very good.
stay lit
Very
half
good.
an hour after
You have to,
oven?
yeah. So he has to kasher much stern about who's the shiloh down, and he says so like plug. They made a certain time. Once they made that time, they didn't differentiate this day and that day. Yeah. But on Afkaminas, we find in halacha if a person's somewhere where there's no Jews around, he's the only Jew. He's traveling somewhere on business. He's the only Jew around. Is there an Indian to put your hanuka by the window, or you're the only one there? Light on your table. So Mikra, they know you have to do is light on your table, but today there's Jews out there. They might not know if they're Jewish, but there's Jews everywhere.
So, I'm sorry, I missed the answer.
Besides Chabad.
So did you say that the people who you want to be able to see the licht have to be Jews?
Yeah, the Pasumei Nisa is for the Jews. I mean, it's a shmachlekes, but
Pasumei Nisa only for Jews? So
Pasumei
what's
Nisa
what's the
bigger
point
than
of
for Jews.
all, the menorahs around the cities?
We'll get into that discussion. It's a different thing. But yeah, the halacha is in the bias. It's not in the parking lots and squares.
The mitzvah is for ala man, ala ner, ve'ala bayit shalom.
Right. No, but the Pasumei Nisa, especially like in Eretz Yisrael, you light it outside. The Pasumei Nisa is for the Rishus Hashanah or
Beside your
family.
home.
Yeah. No, I'm
not
saying like
outside
this.
of, like some like
No. Right, by your
like
home.
at White House
Right,
they put in
right.
menorah,
Yeah. 100%. No, there's no menorah. Yeah. So yeah, if you light it out in the street, we'll see soon. We'll get to that. So just to get it clear, I don't get too off track here. So we have so the Medina of the Gemara. Either you have to have the candle lit until the time when people are not in the street, or the time when you're allowed to light. Once you miss that time, you can't light. So, for example, let's say someone comes home from work later, comes home from work at 9 o'clock. Okay, there's a question today when tichlu regel mashukah, because today people stay for a while. But let's just assume, for argument's sake, that tichlu regel mashukah is a half hour after tzeis. Still, let's assume that didn't change. So a person comes home later. So the question is, could he light with a bracha now? This is a very big question. So the Mechaber brings down, he lights the whole night. So the Achronim have a very big problem with this, because the Mechaber is coming from the Torah, and it would seem that it's a suffix. It's a suffix depending on these two Lashonos of the Gemara. If the Gemara is saying it's just a time frame, how long the candles have to be lit, so Taisa says there, it doesn't matter when you light it. Whenever you light it, it should stay lit a half hour. But if you hold the Gemara saying you could only light the candles until there are people still outside, once you pass that time you can't light, so you blew it. So Avada, you have to light the whole night, but the Mechaber's mashma, you light with a bracha. And how can you make a bracha? It's a suffix bracha lahakal. We don't know. So Mishabur deals with this, and the Chorim deal with it. Mishabur brings it down. So, but the point is that L'Didan, it's a bigger problem in Eretz Yisrael. But for us, that we're lighting for the B'nai Bayis inside the house, so you're lighting for the house anyways, you're not lighting for the outside. It doesn't matter where people are in the street, doesn't make a difference. So L'Didan and Chutz La'aretz, you can light, no p'shayla, you can light with a bracha, inside as long as there are people in the house.
Suffix process of Torah wouldn't apply for us.
Right. It wouldn't apply for us. And even in Eretz Yisrael, the Shailas why the Mechaber says it's a lot of Torahs written on this. But Stammer today, it could be, as long as people are still outside, it could be Saimach to light with a bracha. As long as people are still coming back from work. If you come home at 12 o'clock at night, then maybe not. Then you have a problem. But today, in Chutz La'aretz, it's not a problem. You can light for the B'nai Habayis.
For us here.
For us here.
Is it better to light earlier when you're the only one home.
Right, or later.
Or later when
Other people are home.
family members are coming.
So we're going to get to that. It's a very good question. So getting this clear again. So we have two opinions when you're supposed to light, but for the done for us, like we're saying, since we light for the Bnei Abayis, it doesn't matter. You can light as late as you want. But now one could argue the other way. Since we're lighting for the inside, maybe we don't even need half-hour candles. Maybe the whole half-hour candle is for the time. It was for the time frame of the people outside. But for us, we're lighting for the inside anyways. There's no tichel regel manashuk. So the Darchei Moshe actually brings us down. The machlokes l'maisa, halacha l'maisa, we hold that you need, if it's a shear, it's a din, there's a shear for how long it has to stay lit, and we do it for a half hour. So we take both chumras, we let it light for a half hour, plus it has to be in a time frame when people are outside. But for chutz la'aretz, it doesn't matter. You can light as late as you want. That's the. Now the question is, like you're saying, when do you light, early or late? Since today, for us, you see, in the time of the Gemara or in Eretz Yisrael, there's a very big akpada to light on time. You know, today chutz la'aretz, even though there's also, the Ramah says that one should be machmir to light in the time frame of the Gemara, even though we're lighting for the inside. But avada, that's only a chumrah l'chatchila. But avada b'diavad, you can light whenever you light. But in Eretz Yisrael, it's much bigger of akpada. It's much more of akpada to light on time, because since you're lighting for the outside, and it's very unclear today how you judge the tichel regel manashuk, so you want to make sure to light on time. That's why in Eretz Yisrael they're very makbid to light within the time, whether it's shki or tseis, we'll get to it soon. Whatever time you're going to light, make sure to light within that half hour, because once you pass a half hour from the zman adlaka, you blew it. It's very relevant. Motzei Shabbos, you know. Motzei Shabbos, Shlomo Zalman used to daven early, so he could get home on time to light. In Yerushalayim, the Shabbos is over quite early because they don't want to have to wait 45 minutes. They don't have to wait 55 minutes. Definitely in 72. They wait 35 minutes, 30 minutes. So he would daven early to get home. So we shouldn't miss the half hour after the Zman. The Maisis brought down the minhag is not to daven early because you don't want people to Mechal Shabbos. So we wait later. But there was akpada to try to get during that half hour.
The Maisis in Eretz Yisrael, they're out in the streets till 2 in the morning.
Yeah, the question is that called tichel regel manashuk. In other words, we judge when people come home from work. If they come home and eat supper and then they go out shopping, could be that's not called tichel regel manashuk. It's already it's not the shear of the Gemara. There are people outside, but the shear of the Gemara is when people come in from their business. People don't stop from 9 to 5. You know, they come home afterwards. It happens afterwards. People go out, hang out, have a good time. That's not. Could be that's not the shear of the Gemara. I say the Brisker Rav used to have it. You know, I remember Rav David has Chanuka like this to light till 12 o'clock at night. So he used to say, because he holds, since the movie theaters are still open, it's not tichel regel manashuk. The Moshe Sternbach brings down that it's not pshat. Tichel regel manashuk goes over. He just hit the mitzvah, you let it go. But maybe someone will see it now, you know. But but on chutz la'aretz, even though there's l'chatchila to light in the time, so again, the question is, do I light early or do I light later? So l'chatchila one should light during the time, within the half hour of tseis. So l'chatchila person should light then. But in a b'diavad situation, avada, there's no shayla, he can light as late as he wants. So again, if there are people that are not home, it's best to wait for them. There's a story, Scheiner, a well-known story. His Rabbi, Rav Nachum, Donka. So he was a big tzaddik. So it was his Rebbe. So he came to light the Ner Chanuka and he was waiting. He waited 45 minutes, an hour. Oh, and then his wife came home and he lit. So the Chavetz Chaim asked, why don't you light right away? He says, what do you mean? It's chatchil to light in the right time, but it's definitely chatchil to wait for the wife, you know. So there's no question that if you can wait for people to come home as long as it's still, you know, in some time, someone can light then. There is an interesting stira in the Mishnah Berurah, Agav. We light for the people inside the house. So does there have to be someone else in the house, or is it enough that I'm there? Do you need someone else to light? So on this halacha, Madlik v'hoilach kol halayla, the Mishnah Berurah brings down, if people are sleeping, if you come home late, You came home 12 o'clock at night, the whole house is sleeping. So, ein levarach aleim, you shouldn't make a bracha. You should light without a bracha, because there's nobody in the house to see the nes. That's what he brings down. Or you should wake someone up. If you can wake them up. He doesn't say you should wake them up. He says you should light without a bracha. But later in the halacha it says that if someone is alone, like you mentioned earlier, he's on a trip, he's alone, and there's nobody around, there's no Jew around except for him, he should light with a bracha in order to get the bracha saneh, which we'll talk about later. In order to get the bracha, he should light. But there's no one around except for him. How does he light for himself? So it's a little bit of a steer. He brings a sharksi, and I believe brings a steer here. So it's a shiloh. If there's no one else around besides for you, whether you could make a bracha, it's best to have at least one other person up to watch you light the ner, no matter how late you're lighting. Now, to get to the time, what is the time? When is the proper time to light? So again, this gets into the old shiloh. We're not going to get involved in this by Riches. We spoke about it. When's Shkia and when's Tseis. But the Mechaber says the Zman is Ein madlikin ner Chanuka koydem shetishka chama. You don't light the ner before Shkia. El im soif Shkiyasa. You light it at the end of Shkia. The end of Shkia, according to the Mechaber, actually, he also compared to Tam, is 72 minutes. 72 minutes after. And some learn the Mechaber means the second Shkia of Rabbeinu Tam, the second Shkia, right? There's two Shkias we mentioned. There's the first one, the second Shkia is 13 and a half minutes before 72. That's what he means to light. That's the Mechaber. And it's Mechaber Shita, and so by Ketzer you light by Tseis, or a little before Tseis. And others hold you light by Shkia. Those are the ones the Rambam. The Rambam says you light by Shkia Mamish, loy ma'achrim, loy makdim, loy ma'achrim. Exactly by Shkia you light. It's the Rambam Shita. The Goin, there's a steerus in the Goin when you light. The Goin holds it a first Shkia. It's a steerus in the Goin whether you light right away or you light later. But those are the basic two zmanim brought down halachas. A lot of Scheiner here, but for simplicity's sake, there's basically two zmanim. Do you light in Shkia or do you light by Tseis? So what's the best time to do? So the Heidegger Achronim, starting from the Chazon Ish, the Moshe Feinstein, and the Baron Kotler, and the others, say like this: the best time to light, because you want to get everybody in. Now, we don't know when Tseis HaKachavim is. We discussed this. When is Tseis? Tseis could be 13 and a half minutes after Shkia. Tseis could be, depending on the altitude, you know where we are. It could depend on when Shkia is. Shkia could range anywhere from 25 minutes to 45 minutes, or to 72 if you're like Rabbeinu, Tseis. So 25 minutes, 45 minutes to 72. So the Achronim say, if you want to get the best shir, you want to get within the half hour, because we said, according to one shot in the Gemara, if you light after a half hour, you miss the time. So even though chutzlaritz, it doesn't really matter, but l'chatchila, you want to get within the half hour, so the best time to light is within the half hour of Shkia. Because if you hold it to Zman Shkia, so you get it. If you're within that half hour, you got that Zman. And if you hold a Tseis, it might be already Tseis, or close enough to Tseis that you could be yotze that Shita. So therefore, the Zman range from 20 minutes to 25 minutes after Shkia, that's the best time to light. So Shkia nowadays is about 4:40. 4:40ish, so around 5 o'clock. It's 4:45, around 5:05 would be the best time to light according to the Gdolei Achronim today. Again, that's if someone's home Sunday. If you come home later, then obviously it's not relevant. But if someone could do it during that time, that's the best time to actually light. In a situation where a person is not going to be home during the time of lighting, so either we said he can light way back when he gets home later, or he can light, the Mechaber says he can light, just like on Friday, one could light before Shkia, because you can't light after Shkia, so you light it before, Plaga Mincha, and on, you can light in there Chanukah, even though you're lighting for the next day, you're lighting for Shabbos. You're lighting for, in this case, it will be the third day of Chanukah, you're lighting on the second day of Chanukah, right? But you're lighting for Shabbos, but from Plaga Mincha and on is already considered next day for different halachas. So therefore you can light the candle earlier. So the Mechaber is stretching that halacha, even if it's not Friday, if a person's traveling or going, so one could be the Eved light after Plag HaMincha. Now again, other Achronim argue on the Mechaber, but one could use this Mechaber in the case of necessity. It's very relevant. If someone's, let's say, traveling through the night, someone's, let's say, going by bus to New York, and he's going through the night, and it's very hot, or traveling by plane to Eretz Yisrael, and he's leaving, he has to be in the airport, let's say, he has to be in the airport by 4:30, and there's no way that he could light after Shkia, so there is an Eitzah to light the candles in his house before Shkia, after Plag HaMimcha, because B'diavad has that, and then we shall leave it lit. It should remain lit. It has to remain lit till a half hour after either Shkia or after Tzeis. It should remain a half hour after the Zman. It should remain lit, but you could actually light it before, and then you can leave. And this way, that's not worse than if you're tired.
The fire department doesn't recommend that.
Yeah.
You can appoint shaliach for you?
You can appoint a shliach, yes. We're going to get to that in a moment. You can appoint a
There's no
shliach.
Indian that somebody has to be by the candle?
Yeah, so it's a good question. Is there Indian that someone should be by the candle? So if you have other people in the house home, if you have a bias at our home, so there are other people around anyways, but if not, you're lighting by the window, people in the street can see it. It's good enough. People are nervous to leave it out, so you point to a neighbor to come by and look every couple of minutes and make sure everything's beseder, and after a half hour, it could blow it out. After a half hour, after the Zman, he could put it out. But, many times a person's traveling, and how's he going to light? And this is an eitzah to light after Plag HaMincha, and let it remain lit, and then it can light later.
There's no Indian that should stay by the candle at all.
I say there's no Indian, but the guy's leaving. What should he do? Of course, there's an Indian. He should stay by the candles. Chayav Luris is on there. He has to see it.
How long is that share? And B is saying he's still Yotze.
He's still Yotze. He has it lit. But, he has to go. He has to go.
So let's say he could stay for a little bit. How long is the share he should stay there?
If he could what?
If he could stay there. Let's say he's lighting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and he's leaving. Okay, he should light at 2:45.
No. After Plag HaMincha. It has to be after Plag HaMincha.
I'm saying after Plag.
Yeah, after Plag.
So I'm saying how long is best to stay there for? 10 minutes? Half
Oh,
hour?
after Plag.
Yeah.
The later you light it, the better. The last moment you can light, you can stay a few minutes by it, but the later you light it, it's closer to the night.
I'm saying it's supposed to be just running out.
Yeah.
Stay for 5-10 minutes.
Yeah. Oh. This gets into the whole shiloh of what's the best way to do. So let's say a guy has a choice to light it before Plag HaMincha, or to light it 12 o'clock at night when he comes home very late. So what is better to do? Light it earlier and have it lit, or to light it when he comes home at night at 12 o'clock? So in Chutz La'aretz it's better to light it at 12 o'clock, because since we said the lighting it is for the house, so as long as he's up, maybe someone else is up, it's better to light it at 12 o'clock at night. You lit it in the right time. But in Eretz Yisrael, it's not so posh, because that might be when you missed this man. It might be better to light it from Plag HaMincha earlier and let it stay lit into the time.
What was it? He's talking at 12 o'clock and we only went home.
That's the good shiloh, yeah.
Well, is the mitzvah on the lighting, or is it on the hanuka, that it should be lit at that time? You know what I'm saying? Because if the Iker mitzvah is on the lighting, so when you did it with Plag HaMincha, you didn't do it.
You didn't do it on time, but the Yevid, you yoitz as long as it stays lit. That's what we see from Friday. We see the yoitz of the Yevid. So which Yevid is worse or better? Is the Yevid of lighting it earlier and it'll stay lit better than the Yevid of 12 o'clock at night when it's after the Zman? So that's what we're saying. In Chutz La'aretz 12 o'clock is not really after the Zman, as long as someone's home. Masha Enkein in Eretz Yisrael, it might be better to light from Plag. Now there's another shiloh over here, which is very relevant to the whole Hilchos Chanuka. Big machlokes in the Gdolei Achronim for traveling. Is there a halacha that you have to have a house in order to light in their Chanuka? Or someone who's traveling, he can pull over by the station, by the rest stop, and light his ner Chanuka on the side of the road. Is there a halacha that a person has to light, have a house to light, or buy his kavua to light? Is there such a din? Yeah. So is there such a din? So it's a big machlokes. A lot of the Achronim bring rights. I'm for Tosfos in Shabbos, in Sukkah. I'm sorry, Sukkah says that there's a special halacha in Chanuka that if someone doesn't light, is not lighting for whatever reason, we'll see. Person doesn't light or he didn't light yet, and he sees the Ner Chanuka, he makes a bracha. And if it's the first night, he can make a shachiyonu, even though he's not lighting. He walks by and he sees someone else has a candle outside his house, he makes a bracha. It's called birchas haroya. So if someone is not going to light himself at home that night, we paskin, Salocha Mefurish, that if you see a Ner Chanukah, you can make the bracha shachiyonu the first night, and the rest of the nights he makes the shas and nisam lavisenu just by seeing the Ner Chanukah. It's called the birchas haroya. So the question is, what's the case? I mean, why shouldn't he light himself? What is the case?
Homeless.
What?
Homeless.
Oh, so Tosfos says, Misha ein lebayis. Someone doesn't have a house. Someone who doesn't have a house, he makes this birchas haroya when he sees the ner. So we see from Tosfos that you only have a chiyuv to light the ner Chanukah if you have a house. That's the shittas at Tosfos. Someone who's come out from that. Someone who's traveling, he doesn't have a house. He's not at home. He's nicht here, nicht here. He's not here. He's just where he got to. So chayur, he can't light Ner Chanukah. Even if he wants to, he can't make a bracha. He can't light it. That seems to be the shittas at Tosfos. A lot of the Achronim argue and say Tosfos doesn't mean it. They base it on the Rashi. Rashi says someone who's hoylech b'sfina, who's going by boat, is the one that makes the birchas haroya. If he sees the Ner Chanukah, he makes a bracha. What does it mean hoylech b'sfina? So someone Rashi means, well, it's windy on the boat, you can't light. The wind blows it out, it's not possible to light. But otherwise, you could light Ner Chanukah even if you don't have a house. Others learn that Rashi holds that no, Sfina is not called a house. So the Shal had to learn up in Rashi, but there's a machlokes in Yachronim Bekitzer. The Tzitz Eliezer is very makel, and he says there's no halacha to have a house, and you can light it. It's relevant for the army. They're in the tanks. They're out who knows where by the bunkers. Maybe bunkers is like a house, but if they're somewhere, so then they can't. The question is, could they light in their Chanukah? Could they light it? So Shomer Zalman says they don't have a house. You can't light. They have to light either if they have a place where they're staying. If they have a place to stay, they can light. But otherwise, they can't light. So Tzitz Eliezer says no. There's no halacha of bias. You can light wherever you are. Wherever you are, park yourself down and light your Ner Chanukah. And this is a big shaila in the poskim whether you need a house or you don't need a house. So
is the needing the house based on this Tosfos and Sukkah?
Yeah, based on this Tosfos and Sukkah.
Because it's pure suminis, it's not shalom bias issue. So why do you have to have the house?
Because the takana of lighting Ner Chanukah is by the door of your house. And that's how they stelled it avek. That's what you light. I don't have a house, you can't light by the door of your house. We change it, you light inside, but the takana was, the shaila is like this, if you want to make a lumdish, the shaila is it a chayvus haguf? Is it a chiv? I have a mitzvah to shake a lulav, I have a mitzvah to light Ner Chanukah, so who cares where I am? I have a chiv to light. Or is it a chayvus habayis? Like we find, there's only ner echad habayis. The whole household, mikra dinas to light. Your son doesn't have to light, your wife, one person lights for the whole house.
But I would suggest that the expression by the door of the house is not that you have to have the door, but it should be pure suminisa. It should be for the public.
Yeah.
Not that you have to have the house.
Yeah, but why don't I light outside in the front, by my street? I have better pursuminisa there. So it has to be a house, but by the door of the house where people could see it.
I mean, you want to have a mezuzah on one side.
Yeah.
But it's Ner Isha Beisoy, that's the same idea.
Ner Isha Beisoy is for the whole household, you only need one candle. So if you only need one candle for the whole household, so maybe that shows that there's just a chiyuv for the bayis. It's not a chiyuv for every individual to light. There's a big shaila, and Chana comes out many different ways. We'll see. Could be a lot of nafkamidas. But the first simple nafkamidas is someone who doesn't have a house or he's traveling. Does he have a chiyuv to light? So he's taking a bus through the night to New York. Could he stop on a rest stop, light his Ner Chanukah? Or for that, might light in the bus if they don't. It's not no smoking, So you can light in the bus, or he can't light. He just can't light. Simple as that.
could be household is his family, right? So if his family would travel.
Oh, so if he has family at home, now here we have the big nafkamina. We said you only need a ner issue basic, right? You only need one ner for the family. So this is what we called ishtay madleka salav b'seich basic. If his wife is lighting for him at home, if someone's at home and someone's lighting at home, he is yotzei chiv ner chanukah. So someone lights at home and he's traveling. Technically, he was yotzei chiv because someone lit at home. The problem with it is, it's fine. Ishtay madleka b'seich basic, but he didn't hear the brachas. And he may be required to do the birchas haroya. In other words, he's driving by, he sees a candle lit. He might have to make a bracha because he sees it. So, in other words, the ner issue basically he was yotzei. He has a chiv in his house, but he himself did not see the ner. Now we have a halacha called by achsanoi, for example. Let's say his wife is at home and he's staying by someone's house. So he's mishtatef imay bepriti. In other words, his wife lights for him at home. So the ikar adin, his wife lit for him at home, he doesn't have to light. But since he's staying by someone's house and he didn't see the ner Chanukah and he wants to have the brachas, so he's mishtatef imay bepriti. He pays, kutal, and he joins into the candle. So here we have a shiloh. Could he light himself if he wants? If he wants to light his own ner Chanukah, could he light himself? So this goes back to the old shiloh, sort of. Is it a chiyuv on the guf? He has a chiyuv to light. And the fact that his wife light at home, okay, he was yotzei with that, but he wants to be yotzei a better way. He wants to light himself. Or there's no chiyuv on him to light at all. It's a chiyuv for the household, his household house. He has to see it in there. So he's mishtatef with the other person. There's no Indian for him to light himself. We pass him without going through all the sugyas. The Maisa, halacha Maisa, the Mishabura says it's better if he lights himself.
Ish.
Yeah. Well, yeah. In other words, he also has a chiyuv requirement upon him.
Yeah.
Right. So it's better he lights himself. Just he should be careful. He has to have in mind not to be yotzei with his wife's lighting. So either has in mind not to be yotzei, or he lights before his wife lights. His wife is lighting at 6 o'clock. He should light at 5:30. He should make sure to light earlier, or have in mind not to be yotzei from his wife. But there is a concept of him lighting himself. So getting back to us, so if a person's traveling, so if his wife's lighting from at home, so he's at least halfway there. If he can't light himself, he can't light himself. But many times there's no one lighting at home, and he really wants to have part of the mitzvah of ner Chanukah, so l'chayr, one could be shaymach on the shita. Shaymach holds like that. He can be shaymach on the shita, and he can light himself on a park bench somewhere. Doesn't matter. He can sit and light the ner Chanukah, even though there's no home. Now, interesting enough, the Chuvas Marsham.
Who holds this? Who holds this?
Showing no pass like this. It's Eliezer.
No, it's from the Arbach.
No. Chuvas Alman doesn't seem to go like that. But it could be samach on that to light in a place where there's. If he doesn't have the lighting, if he has no other eitzah, he has no other possibility, he can light.
And then stay how long in there?
You should stay there a half hour for the shir. You should stay for the shir. It's best if you could make it. If someone was traveling, he asked what he should do. He's traveling with a group of kids. So it's best if you set in a place where you're going to eat. You stop over to eat somewhere that makes like a kviyas. You're eating over there to light where you're eating. The
Shlomo Miller?
yeah, spots like that. It's interesting. The Chuvas Marsham, he says like this. He declares, he was. I don't know if they had planes there, and they did have, but the comment was, but on the trains, he declares that if you're traveling, if you buy a ticket, an overnight train, so it could be that's like you're renting your caboose, whatever you call it, cabin. Yeah, you're renting that part, so that could be like your home. We'll debate whether they let you light on the train, but technically he holds that could be that's enough of a bias. You don't need a bias kavua, he says. As long as that could be that's enough of a bias to allow you to be able to light on a train or even though it's moving, but it's enough. Since you rent that part, that could be enough. So he holds that for that zicha you could be samech on that. Even if Shlomo Zalman says you could be samech on that in order to light in that place. On a plane, it's a little more difficult. It shows you really, you own your seat. You're renting your seat. If you light on the plane, how would you light? It's another shaila.
So how does this play together? You have, you need to light, and on the other hand, you have to have pirsum hanisa. So if he's, what's more important? If he's to light for himself and nobody is there, or he has to make sure that he, really, to fulfill the mitzvah, he has to
Make sure
other people see.
Yes, so we're saying that he's the only person that has to see. If you have one other person in the house seeing, that's enough. Shas Atchak, where he's alone traveling, he can light for himself. Since it's the only way for him to have the Ner Chanukah, there's nobody else around, so he can light for himself.
Rabbi, if you're on a plane, could you use an electric?
Oh, that's the next question. You could use electric. So you could use electric lights. So this is also a big mavucha in the Achronim, how electric lights fit in b'chlal and halacha. They say Rabbi Chaim Moisey used to make havdalah, made havdalah by Meri'esh on the light bulb. Now, first of all, we're talking about a light bulb, not for lessons. For lesson, light bulbs was not considered an Eish. But old light bulbs, I guess they have some other ones that the wire gets red hot, so that could be considered a Eish, fire. So the question is, could you be samech on that to light? So it's a lot of literature on that.
The hospitals too, right?
The hospitals, yeah. The places where you can't have fire, shouldn't be samech on that. So the one who goes the most lenient in this area is Rav Shlomo Zalman. He holds that a light has a din fire. Someone once came to him and he was going. I guess he went to a hotel. He opened the door and the light went on. He felt very bad. And then he said, but he spoke to different poskim, and they said, well, you don't have to worry. He did it by accident, but you don't have to worry. It wasn't really a fire anyways. So after he left, Rav Shlomo Zalman told his people standing there, you should know, I hold it's mamash a fire. A light is a fire. Full dinim. That's halach of a fire. So he was the most makel on this, and he held that Shas Atchak Gadol, of course, there's no other eitzah, so you can light. There's a question if you should use the ones that are batteried. So in other words, the ones that plug into the wall. The shah is like this. Besides what halach if it's considered a fire, there's another thing. By Chanukah, it's not enough to have a fire. You can't light a piece of wood. If you light a piece of wood, you're not yotzah, you're ner Chanukah. You have to have a psila and shemen. So now the question is, okay, do I consider the wire a psila and the electricity shemen? So the battery ones are a little better because you have it's as if you have the shemen stored up over there, not plugging into the wall and it's constantly being regenerated.
The flashlight's actually better than
So flashlight's having better than the plug-in, especially since it has that kind of bulb. So if Shlomo Zalman holds it and welcome Shas Atchak, there's mamash no other eitzah, one could light with a bulb. Others argue and hold you can't. So now in our pashte, those that do it, there's what to be saibachan.
They would make a bracha.
Shlomo Zalman holds you can make a bracha, and in the hospital you have no choice. You can even make a bracha. Lamai halacha lamaisa, especially for one traveling, where the whole traveling bit is not so simple. The whole traveling airplane is not so posh. You could light without a house, without a place. So to be saibachan that with the flashlight. With a bracha, one should make a bracha, but maybe one should do it without a bracha. Now it's important to know, because you could be without a bracha, might be gedai, but it's important to know that when you light, you can't hold a flashlight. You can't, because that's not called hadlaka. Hadlaka is a mitzvah. The Gemara says if you hold it there, that's not considered yotzei mitzvah, unless it's placed down somewhere. So you have to place it down in a way that it doesn't look like, if it looks like you're using it as a flashlight, you're not yotzei mitzvah. It has to look like it's not being used as your flashlight, not being used as your lantern. So you have to place it on the, open up the seat, stand it up, for the eighth night, put 8 turning there, and put on the bulbs one by one, and at least this way, according to some shittas, if you hold, you don't need a bias, you don't need a house, and you hold an electric flashlight works, so at least you yaitz a mitzvah. You don't get the bracha, but you yaitz.
I built 5 little flashlights. It was sitting like a hanuka.
Oh, very good. So place it down.
It's sitting in the stand, yeah.
And then you can turn it on, and you'll have it. Right. So that's an eitzah. That's an eitzah to get around. I mean, I wouldn't make a bracha on it, but it's an eitzah. At least you have the mitzvah. So So again, but going back to originally, if someone could at least leave someone in the house, if he has a house, if he has a place, so he can leave someone, he can light it before Shkia, you can light it after Plaga Mincha, so you can light it before, and then he goes to the thing, and then he mamada someone to go turn it off later, to put out the fire later. That's the best date, so at least he has the mitzvah. Now, whether you ask whether you could just make a shliach is also a good idea. If, let's say someone's leaving earlier, 1 o'clock flight, and they're not even going to be around in this man, so you can be mana a shliach to light for you in your house, even though technically you're not living there because you're away, but it could be it's good enough. So the shliach, after he'll light his candle, he'll make a bracha on his candle, and then without talking, go to your house and light your candle, so his bracha that he made on his candles will go for you too. So then he'll light your candle, and then you could also be yotzeh. Someone who has no other eitzah, so the person can light, you make the shliach, light in his house, stay there a little bit, and then he can put it out. And then you could also be yotzeh, is basic.
If somebody were to use the flashlights, if somehow that could all come together, there is a bracha, there isn't a bracha.
So Shlomo Zalman holds that Mokum Atchak, you could be Saimach on it to make a bracha. Shlomo Zalman holds, I don't know, why says someone wants to be Saimach on that in a place where you can't light in this situation. What I'm saying is when you're traveling, you already get into so many shilos on the way where there's no house and this and that, to use that, and then this is getting into really great territory. So then I wouldn't make a bracha. We're not going to have time to get into this now, but issues come up if, let's say, you're traveling and you're going to someone else's house. Where do you light in your house? Let's say I'm eating my meal by someone else's house. Can I light by his house or light by my house? Now again, here, even if you hold it's a chayvus, if you hold it's chayvus abayis, really you're supposed to light in your house. If you hold it's chayvus aguf, could I be yotz in the next person's house? The ikar din is to light in your own house. So again, this is going to be the whole share, but halacha l'maisa, just to keep it simple, halacha l'maisa, that avada, the best place is to light in your house where you're sleeping if you're coming back. But if you stay over, someone stays over for Shabbos, let's say Motzei Shabbos, it's very relevant before they go home, they want to light. So then, according to the most poskim, you can light where you stay, since you were there ready for Shabbos, when you're going to go home. If you stay there for a half hour, which is the ikar shir, so you can light there and stay a half hour and then go home, if you're still there. But the ikar place to light in some person's home. A lot of people that go around, especially single girls, they eat here, so they light there. It's not really the best way to do it. The best way is the chiyuv is to light by his own house, and they used to say the best thing is not to do is to travel. It's not to travel on Chanuka. You get into all the shilos. But it became a minute to travel.